Hey friends, welcome to another JB's Man Cave road trip. This time we are going up Blanchisseuse Road and we're going to one of the most remote areas of Trinidad. That is Brasso Seco village. Not Brasso, huh? Brasso Seco village. Now I will be commenting in this video as well as playing music. I will only be commenting on the areas that I think needs to have some of my input. That's because this video is over 2.5 hours long and there's no way I could comment all the way through it. So if you want to hear my comments, make sure and keep watching all throughout the video because I'll come in when you least expect it. Also make sure to subscribe because that's the only way you can know when I'm bringing out a new video, and right now I'm bringing out videos every day, twice a day sometimes. So we're in Arima right now, and when we turn left, I think this is Prince Street, yeah, and we are going to follow this road heading north, and that will take us to the Blanchisseuse Road. And that road is very long, very winding, but very green and beautiful. It starts out wide and then it narrows. The way I have the lens at super wide 60 fps to give you a sharp, brilliant view, you can take in what the area is like. Also, along with subscribing, make sure to hit the notification bell. That's that little gray bell. Click on it for my channel, because even though you're subscribed, sometimes YouTube will not let you know right away or in a hurry, or if you're subscribed to many people, my subscription will not be shown to you right away. My channel won't be shown to you right away. So the notification bell makes certain that you get a notification as soon as I upload a new video. So make sure to hit that notification bell as well. For those of you not familiar with Trinidad and Tobago, this is Trinidad. We are in the northeast. We're heading to green, and from the look of the houses, as you can tell, there's a mixture. It's not like one house fits all. Everybody has a different way to keep their house, keep their surroundings, and so on. Where we are going is also a mountainous area, so there's a gradual ascent, and you can see the mountains in the background. We'll be heading into all of those, but we will have so much forest around us that you won't be able to see much around you except all the green, but I can promise you it's really beautiful. And essentially that main road, that Blanchisseuse Road, begins here. One of the most beautiful things about Trinidad and Tobago is its natural flora and fauna, the nature. Really beautiful. So much green, so much colorful plants, so much to explore. When I was a teenager and into my early 20s, I used to do a lot of hiking, a lot of camping out. Something I haven't done for a long while, mostly because if I was to do that now, I would need a big group of people, just for safety reasons, and I don't have access to that at the moment. Check out how small that bridge is. There's no barriers. Looks like it was washed away. this strip of road is really good, and it's unusually wide. It's one of the first things my family noticed. But as we keep on driving, it gets narrower and narrower to the point of almost impassable. It almost looks like a trail in some parts. But luckily for my vehicle, I have a steady mounted video recorder that will try to keep it as still for you as possible. Check this dog that's crossing the road when we're coming up here. Doesn't seem bothered by my vehicle at all. Now if you looked at this road ahead and the road to the left, which one would you take? Would you take the one on your right or your left? Well, you can't see the right, but the right is paved well, and that left one looks bad. But this actually is not the Blanchisseuse Road. The other one is. But we're going to take a look here to see what it's like, what it leads to. I don't even know if I recall seeing this on the map. Now if you hear a dog barking in the background, it's a neighbor's dog, and it's really irritating because that dog just barks at anything. It's not trained. I don't know why people don't train their dogs. So it just yaps at any little thing it sees, and unfortunately my microphone picks it up. Should really get a soundproof room or a soundproof setup, but you know that's really difficult. Sound is really something difficult to manipulate, or to get rid of, I should say. And you may say, oh well, there are filters and there are things to take out background noise. Well, I'm actually using that right now, but the dog's voice, it's a big dog, just penetrates everything. Anyway, so as we see, it looks like an excavation site, and these kind of places, I don't know, I have mixed feelings about them. There's a necessity to have raw materials, and yet, you know, it takes away from all the green. The most important thing is that they are doing it legally, because illegal excavation of places, that's just not cool. The legal ones, you know, there's some sort of control, there's some sort of observance of standards or whatever, but the illegal one, they just, you know, cut away anywhere they feel like. Anyway, so that was that. We're gonna head back to the Blanchisseuse Road. And as you have seen from this drive so far, it's just all green. So you saw how this road looked. Now look at the main road that we're supposed to be on, Blanchisseuse Road. It's like, wow. It's really bad. Fortunately, even though there are some rough areas, the whole road is not like this. Otherwise we would have to drive even slower. But it does get narrower. Sometimes during the trip we would stop when we find somewhere that looks unusual or that we think would be captured well in video. So we stopped here, and you can see somebody coming down the road. It's a dog with lots of observation skills and probably hungry. He checks us out, makes his approach. I actually have a short video on this particular event. He would not leave, and I decided probably he was hungry, and I was right. Look at how he goes down on this bread. You know, sometimes you would throw something for animals, they would sniff it and leave it, but this dog didn't mix matters at all. And after seeing the way he ate that bread, we decided that we couldn't give him another one like that in case he choked, so we decided to give him in pieces. And for our whole time there, he did not leave. He was with us. We had a loaf, or not a loaf, but a bag of hops bread, and we just left him the bag, and he took it all down. Anyway, continuing this road trip, this angle allows you to see the road ahead, how it curves around the mountain, and you can see the drop. There are no barriers or anything, so if you make a wrong move or you lost brakes or something, that's it, you're going straight down. And you can see how the trees surround you. Notice how that tree is growing down there, and yet still growing up and above and way high ahead, above your head. There's a little spring here, and it makes for some relaxing moments. The sound of water falling, the wind, the smell of nature is just great. It's great for your mind, great for your body. Fresh oxygen. So we're continuing our road trip. Our doggy friend, he continued down the road. Obviously he knew where he was going, and later on we found out he did have a home some miles away, so I guess he was just roaming the forest. This is the Acerite Nature Center. It's closed, unfortunately. That would be a lovely place to visit. Lots of birds gather there. If memory serves me right, there's a cave as well. But the pandemic has just put a lot of stuff off limits. You can see how narrow the road gets. And I just spotted something. I stop and go back, and it's a crab. You can't see it from this angle, but my wife took this shot. I was trying to figure out what crabs would be doing all the way up here in the mountains. Maybe some river or something nearby. If you know what kind of crab that is and how crabs would be up here in the mountains, please let me know in the comments. I'll be interested to find out. After seeing that crab, I decided I was going to keep looking for more. Check some of these corners. It's a really tight turn. And I see another crab again. This one, instead of staying still like the last, it actually ran towards the bamboo. And I believe my wife took a picture of it and put it on her social media platform. That's why we're kind of standing still here, giving her a chance to do that. And then we continue the road trip. Sometimes you'll come across a vehicle or two, not very often. And sometimes, you know, in these areas there aren't a lot of signage, so you stop and you ask somebody that you think may know, or who has been to the place that you are trying to go to. And you know, Trinis are pretty good at that. They are willing to give you help and tips about wherever you're going, so you don't have to feel bashful about asking a Trini for directions. Just be careful who you ask, you know, size them up. You don't want to put yourself into a predicament or a challenge. But more or less, Trinis are very helpful in that way. I think mainly I was asking how far we have till the Brasso Seco turn off, and it's not very far. So we keep on going. And as you can see, like I told you, the trees and the green just surround you. You know, if we could have looked off left, we would have seen a valley. But there's a lot of bamboo, and with good reason, because bamboo retains the earth well, prevents slippage. So we can't see it, but there's a big valley to the left. Looks like these people had some vehicular trouble. Just checking to see if they need assistance. And there's two vehicles, so one helping the next. So we're good to go. We came across this little place seemingly taken care of by Asha, or whomever that is, or whatever family has their house there. But anyway, it's a fantastic lookout. In the background is the sea. There's a lot of glare, and it almost looks like the ocean goes into the sky. can get a better idea of what I'm talking about at this angle. It is very cool up here. I don't know how many degrees, but it sends a little chill through you. Nice and cool. Well, the time of the year too, the temperature is a bit cooler. I could well imagine here at 4 o'clock in the morning. Must be freezing. Well, freezing according to Caribbean standards, because I know somebody from a country with 4 seasons will not see anything here as freezing. And I know what freezing is like, having lived in snow-ridden countries before, and I actually do not care too much for that kind of weather. I love tropical weather. I don't mind the humidity, I don't mind the heat. Anyway, looking down, you can see that the place is maintained. They put different plants, and it's free. They have a little box, I think, for donations. I'm not sure, but it's good that they were willing to do that. And in another note too, it's kind of sad that it takes somebody private to do something like that. I mean, this kind of thing should be a whole tourist project at various stops along the way. You know, just showing the beauty of Trinidad. We shouldn't have to wait for somebody to take that initiative privately. Anyway, I'm capturing some of the other plants and trees and the surroundings. I like the way this road turns into one big curve. I saw that dog, how he was hiding under the bush, checking us out, making sure we behaved ourselves while we were there. As you can see, I can't get over this view, so I'm spending a little while here. I'm sure you will forgive me. Have a look to some music. So we are here not at Brasso Seco, but the turn off for Brasso Seco. That road on the left would continue north on Blanchisseuse Road, and now we're going to take this road. I'm just looking at the signage. Didn't even bother to check the site or anything. This road was totally interesting for me because of how small it is. It narrows to the point that it almost looks like a paved trail down a road. But just consider how much we have driven so far, and now that we have reached this road, now we're descending into Brasso Seco village. That's to show you how remote it is. And you will notice there are a lot of shops around, no gas stations, pharmacy, groceries or anything. So I mean, if you are in some sort of emergency or you have to get something, you have to drive really far. Now of course Brasso Seco has its own little organized things, and it has a church, a school. I'm sure it has a place to get groceries, some basic amenities and so on. But if you really had to get a lot of stuff, just think of how much you have to drive and the kind of roads that you have to drive on. You know, this is just to give you an idea of how long the trip would be, the kind of roads you would have to access, you know, so you can plan it if you ever plan to visit Brasso Seco village. I wonder what it's like at night here. I know we will not be staying here until night because it's necessary for us to get back to where we're going before nightfall. While I like adventure, I don't like adventure when I have, you know, my family, my boys and so on. With me on a trip, because you know, if something happens, I not only have to worry about how we're going back, but their safety as well. Anyway, so we're descending into Brasso Seco village, and eventually when we get there you will see just how small it is and how remote it is. So we're leveling off now into flat, and we're coming into the Brasso Seco village. I did check out their website, it's active. There's an actual committee for Brasso Seco. They give daytime adventures, doing hiking, going to the falls. They provide accommodation. You could stay with a host family where they provide all the meals, and there's even a visitors facility. But again, all these things are more or less off limits with a pandemic. So I'd have loved to show you more and show you what they have to offer, but I can't. But at least you get an idea of what it's like to live in a remote village in Trinidad, how far it is, what it looks like. For me, it was amazing to see this church all the way out here, and a very large church at that. It's probably the biggest structure within the village. And this road, I understand, goes on for quite a while. But as you will see, it will take a particular kind of vehicle to get through it. Now, although I could do it, we don't have plenty time. The sun is going down, but I'm going to show you as much as I can. So as you can see, the roads are really muddy. And with my truck I do have all-terrain tires, and it is a 4x4, so there's no fear of traveling through this, but time is against me. And again, I don't want to go into a remote area with my family, as my family are with me. And to boot, we have some vehicles approaching. I'm not familiar with this area, and it seems like they are. That truck just went onto the side, and I was going to pass him, but then I saw his friends or people following him also coming, and I really didn't know what to do, so he gives me a hand signal to come forward, and then I guess they will go around me through the green. Those first two vehicles just look like highway tires, but these have mud tires and a huge lift, and with the amount of mud you're seeing on those vehicles makes you wonder what's ahead. That's another video I'm gonna have to make soon for you guys, see what mudding is like. There's so much to show you, but everywhere I have gone, it's almost like they're telling you, don't come here, don't go there, time restrictions, what you can do, what you can't do, and so on. It's kind of annoying, to be honest. The most annoying thing for me with these COVID restrictions is my inability to go out running, and because I can't run, I've put on a lot of weight. Yeah, that's no excuse, but you know, still, I love to run, but they're saying I have to have a mask on while I'm running, and I created a video about that some time ago, but I don't know who can run and run for long distances with a mask on their face. Just not happening. So I really miss running. But you know what's the next good thing too? Hiking. The only thing is, hiking takes a longer time period, and finding the right place to hike. You know, this road alone, that would be a great hike. You can see how the road is deteriorating. If more we go, the worse it gets. Really, I wish I could have gone all the way, although like I said, I don't have a backup vehicle, so if I was to get stuck anywhere, even though you have 4x4 and you have all terrains, you know, that doesn't mean you're immortal on a road. There's still some restrictions, and you could get stuck somewhere, or you could have an accident, and it's always good to have a vehicle with a winch that could assist you, and also good to have other people too for protection and whatnot. But I don't have any of that, so somewhere along here I'm going to have to turn around and make my way back. Okay. Right around here. If any of you that are watching this are local and you do mudding, or you have some particular adventure you think I would like and you would like me to accompany you, please let me know. In the comments you can send me a message, and I would like to hook up and film. Most of the time I am in the truck and I am driving, and you can't get all the angles because, well, of course your hand is on the wheel. If somebody else was driving and I had the camera, then you know, I could be filming on the side. Even though this camera does an excellent job of pulling in all the sides and whatnot, still, you know, it would make it easier for me to just jump out, record some, get back in the truck, or whatever, whomever is driving me. That's something I would like to do. Now those those coconut trees. I think they call them Chinese coconut. I'm not sure. But anyway, those coconut trees remind me. For this whole road trip, you didn't see many coconut trees, did you? And that shows you that just because it's a tropical island doesn't mean you'll naturally see coconut trees just everywhere. Coconut trees tend to be along beach coast, beach lines, and um, because we don't have any of those, unless you go to some far area like Maracas or Las Cuevas or whatever, you hardly see any coconut trees. And I've spoken about that in my other videos, how I feel about the lack of seeing things that identify us as a Caribbean island. I mean, looking at this, you wouldn't know where this is. This could be anywhere. You wouldn't think, okay, this is a Caribbean island or whatever. You know, this could be Manila for all you know. But this is Trinidad, in the country known as Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean. Last southern island in the Caribbean. And we are driving through some roads here in a remote village called Brasso Seco. Again on bad roads, heading back, and this driver in front of me, good driver, nothing wrong with this driver. I'm not highlighting, this is not a crazy driving video or anything like that, but I'm just using this example of why having a truck, a 4x4 vehicle, all-terrain tires is so important. See how slow we are going? That's the thing about when you're driving cars. Every little bump, every little thing that you feel on the road, that car really can't handle it well. It's rough on the suspension and everything. But a truck, is made up differently. And you could just kind of breeze through this with no problem. But, cars have to go slow, take their time, stop for every little thing. So that's why I always favor a truck over a car. Some people like SUVs, but yeah, you might have the ability to go everywhere, but the cost of a SUV, you may as well get a truck. Lots more space. And the best thing about having a truck too is the back. You could add a canopy, the tray could carry stuff. You can't do that with an SUV. If somebody have to move a fridge or a table or whatever, you can't put that on an SUV, but you could do that on a truck or pickup. And again, a truck is still made up differently to an SUV. It could take more hard knocks than an SUV, even though you may have, 4x4 or a little more rugged suspension or a little lift. Still doesn't reach the capacity of a truck. If your thing is speed, well, you go for a car or you go for something faster, lighter. But to me, the whole of Trinidad, the road system and the roads itself, is almost like you need all-terrain for everywhere. Because the roads are just that bad. Some of these roads here resemble some of the roads that you see in everyday driving. And that's not an exaggeration. So we're coming out of the road to Brasso Seco and we're getting back on the Blanchisseuse Road. If I had turned right, I would be heading north, but we're going back to Arima. You'll get to see a little bit of Arima, not too much of it, but we're heading back this way. And by doing that, you also get to see what it's like in the other direction, because sometimes when you're coming from one direction, you only see everything from one perspective. Going back, you see it from another perspective. So have a look. Just love how the sun shines through those leaves, branches, and how the green covers everything. Testing. Here's a good example of going the opposite direction. Look at how you could see the mountains in the background. You couldn't see that when we were coming the other way. I don't know if that's a landslide, a cliff or what, but it's really nice to look at. You can see the valley better this way too. And you can see some footage of things that you wouldn't have captured with your eyes, coming from the other direction. That's usually why when I go on any road trip and I record it for you all, I go towards the destination and also backwards. Not always is possible, but I generally like to do that. You may say, well, oh, you went this way before. Yes, I went that way before, but in a different direction, so you'll get a different perspective of how it looks. Plus, sometimes I'll go in an area during the daytime, in the morning period, and then if I come back during the afternoon, the evening, you get to see what it looks like during that time period. Again, the idea of JB's Man Cave is not to highlight myself or highlight just one thing, but to help you to feel as though you were there with me in my truck. So if I was just cutting and pasting, just showing you nice areas or areas where interesting, but you don't see anything else, you don't really feel like you were there. You feel more like you was watching a brochure or an advertisement. With these long road trips, you get the feeling of what it would have been like if you were there with me in the truck. That's what I try to capture. So if we took that road on the right, that would have taken us back to the old Arima road and that part of Arima. But we're going to stay on this road, so you'll get a different angle going into Arima. It'll take us a little bit into the east, but we're not going fully that way. We're going to turn back and head towards Arima, so you'll just get a little bit of Arima, not much. You have to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get all of my next video on Arima. But I wanted to capture some of these areas for you, especially if you are abroad and used to live in this area. You know, you'd like to see what it's like. Again, facilitating my fellow trainees abroad. So sit back, have a look, but just don't forget to subscribe, tell your friends about JB's Man Cave. Quality videos, putting you in the passenger seat on these road trips.